In the year 2147, humanity had conquered disease, expanded beyond Earth, and built civilizations in the sky and beneath the ground. Cities stretched miles into the heavens, and underground metropolises thrived with artificial suns. But despite these advances, an unexplained horror gripped the world, one that defied science, logic, and even time itself. People were disappearing without warning, only to reappear as lifeless bodies, plummeting from the sky. It started as isolated cases, dismissed as freak accidents. But when the number of victims grew, and patterns emerged, the world realized something terrifying was happening. These bodies, called human droppings by the media, were found in every continent, in cities and remote wastelands alike. Some were fresh, their skin still warm, as if they had just died seconds before hitting the ground. Others had been missing for years, their bodies eerily preserved, untouched by decay. Even more disturbing, some corpses dated back centuries, dressed in ancient garments, holding objects no historian could explain. One victim, a woman in 21st century attire, was found clutching a journal filled with entries written in a language that did not exist. Governments, corporations, and private researchers launched global investigations, but every test led to dead ends. There was no cause of death. No signs of struggle. No evidence that these people had been held anywhere. It was as if they had simply vanished from reality and then, inexplicably, returned lifeless. In some cases, the missing had been caught on camera, disappearing in the blink of an eye. A man entering a train station, never coming out. A child running through a park, vanishing mid-step. Even a world leader, speaking in a live broadcast, dissolving into nothing as the world watched in horror. Then, another revelation sent chills through the scientific community. Some victims carried artifacts from different eras: an ancient Roman coin with a mint date unknown to historians, a futuristic keycard to a company that did not yet exist, and a photograph of a person who had not been born. The implications were staggering. Time itself seemed fractured, and these people were caught in the rupture. But who or what was behind it? As the world panicked, a group of rogue scientists known as the Divergence Initiative made a shocking claim. By tracking patterns in weather disturbances and gravitational anomalies, they discovered that all human droppings originated from a single fixed point in the sky. This point was never visible, never detectable by radar, and yet, it remained precisely 37,000 feet above the ground at all times. Some believed it was an invisible structure. Others thought it was a rip in the fabric of space-time. But no one knew for sure. In a desperate attempt for answers, the initiative sent drones into the area. Most never returned. Those that did came back with corrupted data and shattered components, but one drone managed to capture a single frame of footage before its signal was lost. The image was blurry, distorted by static, but in the center of it was something impossible: a door, hovering in the sky, slightly ajar. When this evidence leaked, the world erupted into chaos. Religious leaders called it a gateway to the afterlife, a punishment for humanity's arrogance. Scientists debated theories of interdimensional travel and alien intervention. Conspiracists claimed it was proof that Earth was nothing more than a controlled experiment. But the one undeniable truth was that the door, whatever it was, remained open. And the human droppings continued. A pilot named Jace Carter, known for daring test flights, volunteered for a suicide mission. Using experimental stealth technology, he flew straight into the coordinates provided by the Divergence Initiative. His last transmission was chilling. He spoke of a presence, something watching him, something vast and unknowable. Then, his voice turned frantic. "It's not a cloud. It's a door and it's opening, his signal cut out. His aircraft was never found. 2 years later, in a crowded Tokyo district, a body crashed through the glass dome of a high-rise. It was Jace. His flight suit was intact, his body untouched by time. In his clenched fist was a crumpled piece of paper. Written in his own blood were 2 words, "Not alone." The world fell into paranoia. People avoided open skies. Fear of vanishing kept them indoors. Governments covered up new cases, but leaked footage still found its way into the darkest corners of the internet. More bodies fell, some from the distant past, others from the future. One man, wearing a uniform with an insignia never seen before, had a device embedded in his wrist, one that pulsed with a technology beyond human understanding. Theories spiraled out of control. Some believed the victims had been taken by a higher intelligence, used, and discarded. Others feared that time itself was collapsing, that people were slipping through cracks in reality. But the most disturbing theory suggested something else entirely, that humanity was never alone, that something had always been watching, waiting, selecting. Then, for the first time, a body was found with signs of life. A woman, barely breathing, her pulse weak. Doctors worked frantically to stabilize her, but she could not speak. Only her eyes moved, darting in terror, as if she could still see something beyond the veil of human perception. She died within minutes. The autopsy revealed something horrifying. Her brain was filled with symbols, carved into her neural tissue, as if something had written inside her mind. The discovery was hidden from the public, but whispers spread among those who knew. The carvings were not random. They were a message. The Divergence Initiative, now operating in complete secrecy, worked to decode them. When they succeeded, the message was worse than anyone could have imagined. It was not a warning, it was not a threat. It was an invitation. Human droppings continued to fall. The door remained open. And somewhere, beyond the sky, something was still watching. Waiting. Choosing its next victim.